What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Ferris Mudana, and welcome to the post credits. Today we'll be reviewing season 2, episode 1 of The Pitt. Season 2, episode 2 of The Pitt. Before we get into it, guys, make sure to hit that like, make sure to hit that subscriber. Really appreciate it. We're inches away from 1,100 subscribers. We're 30 away, so make sure to hit that like, share the link, and we really appreciate that. But without further ado, let's get right into it. It's been a hectic hour, and we're about to talk about the second hour of The Pitt. We are at 8 a.m. You know how The Pitt does. 7 to 8 is hour 1, 8 to 9 is hour 2. We're on hour 2, 8 to 9. But it was so hectic in hour 1 that I forgot some things, because the show ends off with them finding a baby abandoned in chairs. Chairs is the waiting room outside. I believe it was in the bathroom they found it. So there's an abandoned baby they found. So now they have to look after a baby. Dr. Al-Hashimi got some information at the end of last episode where it kind of froze her, and it ended the show like that. So it's been a hectic hour already. So you got an abandoned baby. You got probably an abused kid, unfortunately. You have someone who had to get their arm popped in. It's been wild. You know, they had to like open up someone's chest in hour 1 to save them. They had to rotate a lung. So it's been wild. So let's get into hour 2, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. More stuff happens right away. Someone comes in. They have a dislocated shoulder. One of their bone is popping out of their armpit. But the main storylines as the hour goes along, it's pretty simple. It's pretty right away. Dr. Al-Hashimi versus Dr. Robby. It's been pervasive throughout the first 2 hours. She showed the medical students and Whitaker about how she uses generative AI to help her chart with patients. So she spends less time charting and more time helping. But there was some little mistakes in AI, like they all are. You know, shout out to Joy, the medical student. She says, "Oh, AI almost intelligent," because there's little mistakes in there, especially in the medicine area. And I really think that was deliberate to show you that if you mess up the medicine and someone gets the wrong medicine, it could be catastrophic for them. So they mess up the AI messes up the medicine. So you kind of see the benefits of it, you know, generating the full chart, but also the nature of it could be very, very bad. So it's Cowboy Dr. Robby, new doctor, new medicine, Dr. Al-Hashimi. It's going to be throughout the entire episode. You clearly see it. And it right away, you see it with the opening trauma. Like I said, the guy who had the bone popping out, he dislocated. He fell from a roof, dislocated his shoulder and his arm. And one of the bones is popping out of the armpit. And you could see how she wants to go about it. You want to do this, but he's like, nah, we're going to do this. And she wants to get an opinion from ortho, trauma surgeon, Dr. Yolanda Garcia. One of my favorite characters. She laughs in Dr. Al-Hashimi's face. Robby laughs as well because she's like, she calls her Dr. Wishful Thinking because ortho takes their sweet time. So they needed to do it right then and there. So what they do is they hook up the person who has the dislocation. And then McKay and Garcia are pulling and they're trying to pop it back into place. It's not working. So Robby tells Mel to stick her finger into the dislocation and, you know, massage it. And then they pull again. And this is my favorite, probably my favorite scene where Al-Hashimi is seeing them struggle. And she says, this is why we needed an OR. And Dr. Garcia yells out, I am the OR. And a couple minutes later, you know, the dislocation pops back into place. And it's all fine. So you see how Dr. Garcia is still that alpha dog, still that this is my house. Remember where you are. Shout out to Dr. Garcia. But we keep on moving. Another big storyline of the episode is the medical students, especially the medical student Ogilvy. Ogilvy, he's, like Whitaker said, he's smart, he's attentive, but he wants to show you how smart he is. He wants to kind of shove it in your face. Because there's also a little moment, and his biggest component or opponent is really Javadi, Dr. Javadi, student Dr. Javadi, not Dr. Javadi yet. So she finds out he's their competition because after a little moment of her and Santos, Javadi is a little annoyed at her mother. In the first episode, her mother wanted her wanted to find out what they're doing for her birthday. And Javadi's like, I'll figure something out. I'll call you on Sunday. We'll figure something out. I don't want to do this right now. She kind of brushes off her mom. But then Santos says, hey, I know, you don't really like your mom, but you can, throw in a good word for me and in the surgical unit. And Javadi basically tells Santos, because Santos wants to do double residency. She wants to do some emergency medicine and she wants to do some, OR stuff. And Javadi basically tells her, you can't do it. You can't do it. And Santos is like, why can't I do it? And Javadi, big component of this episode, basically tells her, if I can't do it, you for sure can't do it. And Santos is like, is a little offended, like, whoa, because you're a genius and you think you can figure it out? And she's like, yeah, exactly. And then, Santos is, she wants to get back at her and says, what's the square root of, I don't remember the name. It was like, blah, blah, blah. And then they kind of walk away from each other. And you see Javadi in the back say, Santos, well, she says 29. And Santos is like, what? Well, the answer is 29. And Santos is like, you kept that in the chamber because Javadi, she's a medical genius in a sense because she's 18. Her mom works upstairs in the OR. She kind of got into it right away, kind of a medical genius. So she kind of showed Santos, yeah, see, I'm like that. Remember that. Just because I fainted in the first day here last semester don't mean I ain't like that. That's what Javadi was trying to do. Then we keep it going. We see Langdon, his integration back. There's a little awkward moments. It's awkward with Javadi and Whitaker at one point, and then he makes a comment where he says, I'll go back to exile and triage where all the drug addicts are. And he's made it kind of more awkward. He's trying to reintegrate. But a big component of him was with Mel. Mel is going to help someone. She's trying to look over his bandages. And she's talking. And the guy asks her what she likes. She talks about how she likes the Renaissance Fair. But the guy sees the cops. And he runs. He bails. And in the process of him bailing, he hits Mel. And Mel goes crashing to the floor and hits her head. Because apparently that guy robbed the liquor store and he wants to get away. And then more is it because Mel, gets attacked. Dana sees her. She ices her head. Then we move on to Langdon. Langdon finds out about it. Langdon then tells her, you're going to get a room. And she's in a room. She's being iced. And he's kind of talking to her. And then this is the second apology. Like I said, it was a busy first hour. Langdon in the first hour apologizes to Louis, a recurring, emergency medicine person. And he apologizes by stealing his medicine and his benzos. And this time around, Langdon is apologizing to Dr. King by telling her, I let you down. I went to rehab. I know she said, I heard rumors, but I don't believe in rumors. And he's like, I went to rehab. And he says, I let you down. I should have been an example for you, not a cautionary tale. And he apologizes. And then he leaves the room with the cops after the cops come in. And then a callback to season 1 where he turns off the lights and says, the ER can be a bright and busy. Give me 10 minutes. Where a callback to what she did to a fellow patient last season who was on the spectrum, who needed some, the lights were a little too bright. It was kind of overloaded him, overstimulation, and she brought it down. So that was wonderful. And then we keep going. Dr. Al-Hashimi, Dr. Robby, they're still clashing. Someone comes in and they have a respiratory issue because they had a broccoli stuck in their throat. So Al-Hashimi comes in, she's taking charge. Then Robby comes in and basically overtakes and overrules her. So we see another moment of friction of them once again, because he wanted to just ketamine. She wanted ketamine and another drug, which would have created paralysis. He said, no, ketamine, which makes it easier. So another clash. We have more clashes. And then we get introduced to a new social worker and the psych. A new psychiatrist is on staff. There's multiple there. The psych guy called Dr. Robby Michael. So we know some history right there, because you don't drop that full Michael on somebody unless you know them like that. And Dr. Vinovich may have had to talk to him after what happened with Pitt Fest, because of what happened with his girlfriend's son, who was really close with his girlfriend's son's his son's girlfriend. his girlfriend's son's girlfriend passed away in front of them, and he was trying to save her. So it's a lot of trauma and a lot of fixing that. So we see a lot of things going on. McKay is, going about her. She's kind of nothing's really going on with her yet. But, like I said, guys, last season, it just kept getting wilder. So we 9 to 10, 10 to 11. We're gonna see more hours. What happens? McKay may be involved with certain things. So we just keep it going. We had some bickering relatives over some grease burns. But overall, that's really what happened in the episode. It ends with Dr. Robby in the ambulance bay taking some fresh air. Al-Hashimi interrupts his free time. So once again, there's beef. There's beef there. It's friction. He's like, why are you interrupting my sweet stuff? And she's like, did you listen? Did you look over my suggestions on how to, improve the OR? And he's like, yeah, I've read it, and generative AI and all that stuff, patient, whatever. And it ends with a college student in the ambulance freaking out, high on something, possibly some contaminated drugs. He's tripping out, and she said, he's like, do you want to talk to me about your ideas now? Kind of in a sarcastic tone. And she's like, yeah, we'll talk about it later. So again, we have some friction with Dr. Al-Hashimi and Dr. Robby, but there's more friction with Dr. Javadi and the medical student Ogilvy, where when she finds out that he's probably her competitor for the emergency residency at the Pitt, she then goes in full drive and shows him that, yo, I am Dr. Javadi, medical student. You better respect my name, because she starts naming off stuff, and she schools him a couple of times. He thought he had her a couple of times, but then she came back and put him in a blender with the medical knowledge. And then it got to the point where Dr. Robby had to tell him to calm down, because we get it, you're smart, but we want team players. And she's like, okay, my bad. He can do it. And then he says he can do it. So we're going to see more of that. So watch out for them. Javadi versus Ogilvy, because medical student Kwan, she doesn't care. She doesn't seem like she wants to be there. So we'll see how she evolves. We may end up liking her by the end. So we'll see, because we got a couple more hours. We got 13 more hours to go in this episode. So be on the lookout for that. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. It's a lot going on. I may have missed some things. I'm trying to keep these reviews a little short. So if I do miss something, I'll bring it up in the next episode. But it's a lot going on. A lot of medical professionals in the emergency room used to never be able to explain how their days go by to their relatives, but all they have to say. So now, because of the Pitt, they say, just watch the Pitt, then you'll know what my day consists of. That's what happens every day, because there's a lot going on in the emergency room. So it's a lot going on in the show. A lot of small storylines here and there. We're trying to hit on the big ones. So thank you so much for joining us. Guys, make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, and we'll see you guys for episode 3 review, hours 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you so much. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. My name is Ferris Madonna, and this has been the Post Credits. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out, baby.